Hello there, welcome back to my channel. It is Wednesday, May 14th, and I don't typically vlog on a Wednesday, but if you saw my last vlog, I updated you with all the things going on this week because it's a lot. This is the second to last week of school, but the last full week. Next week is the last week of school, and that's what we're gonna focus on today. I'm gonna walk you through all of the activities, things that we are doing, themes, all of that. So let's jump into it. Before we get into next week and the last week of school, let's recap House Olympics, which was yesterday. If you're not following along, House Olympics is basically our version of Field Day. And in my previous vlog, I went through all the details. So I shared what our day looks like, how we organize House Olympics. So go back and watch that if you're curious. But the day was great. I am very happy that I had more than enough planned. However, we'll come back to that. But in that vlog, I mentioned how my team teacher and I were deciding to switch classes for about an hour so she could get in some social studies, but I had already planned out the day as if I was gonna have my homeroom students the whole day. Since we switched for that hour, I kind of had some extra things that I knew we wouldn't get to, but it's a good thing that that happened because I ended up having some extra time. First, tug of war competition. It was a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it will be something I look forward to every year. We did a bracket style tournament between all of the teachers in our grade level, and every grade level went outside and did this. So we went against another fourth grade class. Whoever won moved on to the semifinals. Whoever won that round went on to the final round. And you are looking at the 2024-2025 fourth grade tug of war champions.
Hey. If you want to win, you gotta fuel like a winner.
I was so proud of my students, more than anything, especially the very last one, the finals. They worked so hard, and it's just funny when you look at their faces and you can tell they are giving it their all. And because we were pretty evenly matched with the last class that we went up against, it went back and forth for a while. I mean, that round of tug of war went on for like 45 seconds, which is pretty long for a tug of war, especially for fourth graders. They were tired, but they just kept at it. And toward the end, basically what happened is I think the other class started to get tired, so we were able to pull ahead. And I was screaming my head off because I'm very competitive, if you haven't figured that out, especially with sports-related athletic events. I just get really into it. And even though I was not participating, I was coaching my students, I was giving them tips. I said, all right, when you line up on the rope, go on alternating sides. So like left side, right side, left side, right side. I kept telling them just to lean back and then to start taking steps backward. And we were victorious. So I was so proud of them. Again, it's less about winning, although of course I do love winning, but it was really just seeing them like put their all into it and have that pay off. So loved that. Then actual House Olympics did end up getting cut short by about 50 minutes because it was just so hot. It was triple digits. Students were going to the nurse and not feeling well, and we had to end it early and come inside and cool off. And so I was very grateful that I had more than enough planned because we did end up using it since we ended early. And I had mentioned in the previous vlog that the teacher inflatable race had already gotten postponed because of the heat, but we were outside and the kids were they were dragging. I was out there doing my duty, so I was actually out there when they decided to cut it early. And I mean, the kids were they were moving pretty slow because they were very tired. But overall, it was a great day, and I'm very much looking forward to next year, especially now that I have a year under my belt and I know what it looks like. Now let's shift and talk about the last week of school. In my prior vlog, I mentioned having some kind of like a theme for each day, and maybe one day was like a snack day, one was a candy day. I decided just to have the whole week be a food, snack, candy theme, however you want to phrase it, because a majority of the activities we are doing those days are related to food. So I'm going to walk you through each of the days, what we are doing, what I'm planning, and some backups. And if you look behind me, you'll notice I just have a growing pile of stuff. There is just constantly things that either my students are bringing in, or I've had to go down to the resource room and grab, or I've gone to the store to get, that will be used mostly next week. So the pile hopefully will start to dwindle, but right now it just keeps growing. Monday next week, we have house day. It is our final house day of the year, but instead of being in a small group house setting, so instead of me just having like my fourth grade students who are in my house, it is our like end of the year assembly where we announce like the house winner for the year and I guess do other things. I don't know, I'll find out. It's my first one. I don't really know what all goes into it. I just know the idea around it. Whenever we have a house day, we alter our schedule. Now our lunchtime stays the same, but typically we end up going to recess in the morning time versus the afternoon, and we have to shift around our schedule in order to fit the chunk of time that's gonna be used for house day at the end of the day. Because of that, I'm gonna have shortened time in math and shortened time in science. But instead of having to stick to math at a specific time and science at a specific time, because I have students that go to tag math, tag is gonna be done at the end of this week. As a result, next week I'm gonna have my full class and I can kind of mesh up the times a little bit if needed. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually start with science because that's the most involved. On Monday for science, we are creating edible compost bins. So all the materials that I have behind me, well, not all of them, a lot of them are for that edible compost bin. So let me go ahead and just kind of grab some of it and show you what all we are doing. First, here is the recording sheet. Now this comes from Science Penguin, so I will link it if you are interested. It's part of our B unit, and on Friday of this week, we're gonna talk about like decomposers, and then they will have the background information on compost bins, so when they build it, they'll already have that knowledge. I need to cut these in half. But these are gonna get glued in their notebooks as notes. The things that we are using for the actual compost bin, I was gonna say, let me just kind of collect all of these things. Okay, so first of all, each student has a plate, and that is to be able to put their food items onto because they're gonna have to like break up certain items, and it will just be easier to have a plate to pass it out on. So in addition to the plate, they also will get a clear plastic cup, and it is important that it is clear so that they can see the layers as they build the compost bin. They're also going to have a spoon because at the end, we're gonna top it with some pudding, so that will help them eat it. Now, parents donated all of these items. We created little sign-up sheets through a Google Doc, sent it out to families. They were able to sign up to bring things in, and we had these due Thursday of last week to give us enough time in case anything didn't come in, we could go to the store and get it, but everything was brought in, so I should be good to go. Now, in the pack that goes with this from the Science Penguin, it goes through what each item represents. I'm just gonna show you the food items, and not necessarily in the right order because right now, honestly, I don't quite remember the order, but we have pretzel sticks, which they will be breaking up and adding into the cup. There are banana chips, so these are just like dried, dehydrated bananas. You can use fresh bananas, but then that's more work because you gotta cut them and you gotta get them fresh. So we just went with banana chips, coconut flakes, which I will be adding some green food coloring to represent grass. But I'll be honest, I know a lot of my students might not wanna actually eat them because I don't feel like coconut flakes are typically super popular amongst kids. We're gonna clean as we go. Then we have frosted flakes and some chocolate pudding. So this is kind of representing the moisture that would go into a compost bin, but they're not gonna add water to it because that would then be gross, so they're gonna add chocolate pudding on top. Oh, and Oreos. How could I forget the Oreos? They're like the best part. So I've got 2 containers of Oreos. Now, thankfully, because I already have all this, I'm good to go other than dyeing the coconut flakes. But I'm trying to remember what all went into what bag. I'm gonna wait and do that on Monday. And honestly, I probably won't have the time to like divvy it all up because Monday is the baby shower for one of my team teachers. I'll share more about that in the next vlog. But as a result, during my planning time, I'm gonna be going to the library to set up for the baby shower, which means I will not necessarily have time to actually like set all of this up in advance for my students. So what I will do is just in real time with them, I will divvy out the supplies and it will be fine. So that fits the food theme for Monday. For math, we're not really doing anything related to the theme, but we are doing something that we have to do to set ourselves up for the rest of the week. We are gonna be focusing some more on financial literacy the last week of school, and my students will be completing a course through EVERFI, so it's EVERFI. I will link the website for you. It's free to sign up, and they have a bunch of like financial literacy courses. The one we are doing is for grades 4 through 6. It's called like Vault Understanding Money. And they have other courses that go up through like high school grades. So especially if you teach older kids, definitely recommend checking out. It's free to sign up. But Monday, we have to get our students to like go on and create their accounts and understand how to use the course so that they can work on it Tuesday, Wednesday. They're not gonna work on it on Thursday because that's the last day and they won't have Chromebooks. But the goal Monday is just to get their account set up. So that's Monday. Tuesday, I need to look at my notes because at this point of the year, my brain cells are dwindling. So Tuesday, my students are gonna keep working on their restaurant project. I showed this in the vlog where I was out for 3 days for subplans because I was flying to Italy. And this was a project that I had them complete the day after the Math Star. So it was kind of a more fun project, but I knew they were not gonna finish it in one day. And I've had a couple of students who have continued working on it, but no one has finished yet. So my plan is both Tuesday and Wednesday, in addition to working on EVERFI, I'll give them some time to work on that. I'm gonna have them just work on the Start a Restaurant project. I thought about giving them a new project where it was like creating a food truck, but because we haven't finished the restaurant, it just makes more sense to continue working on that. So let me see if I have any extras of that I can grab to show you. So I got this on TPT. It's from Shelly Reese. I will link it for you, but I didn't use all the pages. I just kind of chose the ones that I thought would most interest my students or that made the most sense for us. So the very first page is just a brainstorming page. I wanted my students to think of possible themes for their restaurant and think about food items that would fit that theme and why people would want to eat at that restaurant. I think all of my students have completed that page. Then on the back of that is design it and name it outside view. So this is where they draw the outside of their restaurant. And then on the next page is the inside view. So they're gonna draw what the inside of the restaurant will look like. And I'm really encouraging them to be detailed and take their time with these. Then we have the shopping list. So this is where they're thinking about the things that they will need to equip their restaurant for the seating, for the kitchen, all of those things. And obviously they are doing the math to calculate the cost for all of that. Then they're creating a floor plan. So this is kind of getting into like area and perimeter, but deciding where things will actually be located. Obviously they've already drawn the inside, but this is more of like just an aesthetic look at it, the first one, and I can't find the page. And then this one is more detailed in terms of like the actual layout and how much space each item is going to take up. And then the last page is menu math, and this is where a lot of my students left off. A lot of them have not yet gotten their menu, but they will get this little trifold, so they have to fold it into thirds to create an actual menu, and they are drawing and coming up with prices for kids menu items as well as main dishes, desserts, and appetizers. So from here, once they've completed their menu, then they can go in and do the menu math. So the plan is both Tuesday and Wednesday just to give them time to continue working on this project. Each student is doing their own restaurant, but I've been giving them time just to kind of sit with a friend and be able to chit chat while they work on it, because it's, again, more of a fun project, and that way they can bounce ideas off of each other. Now for Tuesday science, we are gonna do a STEM project that I've actually never done before, but I came across it online and I figured it fits the theme and it just looks really cool. My students are gonna create robot hand candy grabbers.
Dwight doesn't trust robots to give us our messages.
Now, I got this again on TPT, so I'll link it for you, and I am not making any physical copies. I'm gonna assign their digital journal through Google Classroom, but they're gonna work in partners, and what I love about this STEM project is it's very minimal materials. They will get a piece of cardstock that they will use to trace their hand and cut it out. That will be kind of the structure of the robot hand. They're gonna get straws, and these are just like plastic drinking straws. They're gonna get string, and then they're gonna get pipe cleaners. I think they get 2 pipe cleaners each. Our science lab was all out of, or science resource room was all out of pipe cleaners, and I checked a Dollar Tree last night, they were all out, so I'm gonna have to go to the store and get some, but it's fine, because I've got time. Other than that, they are gonna watch some videos on how to construct a robot hand, but the goal is to basically attach the little pieces of straw and run string through it so that when they pull on the string, it will flex the hand and they can use that to pick up candy. And I figured that fits the food candy theme that we kind of have for the week. So let me briefly show you the slides for that and then the journal, which I did not create these. Again, I purchased them, but I will link it if you are interested. So these are the teacher slides. We'll discuss what uses there might be for a robot hand. There's some fun kind of trivia with candy. And then I give them the kind of overview of the engineering challenge, and like, here's the setup. You're working on a top secret assignment from the government. There are maneuvers that need to be done, but it's not safe to do it with a human hand. So you need to design and build a robotic hand that can curl its fingers to pick up and move candy. So then we go through the problem, the constraints. They'll watch a video with some background information on robotic hands. Same here, prosthetics, go through the bones in your hand and kind of how those work. They'll have time to brainstorm and design. And even though I'm not giving them any printed paper, it's sometimes easier to brainstorm on physical paper, but I'm just gonna have them use scratch paper. They will start building and testing their model, some reflection questions at the end, and then there are other like STEM connections. So problem solving, career spotlights with like biomedical engineering. And then this is their journal. So this is what I'm assigning on Google Classroom, and it has all of the information that they need. So there's like a picture of it. There is a video with directions on how to build the robotic hand. They've got their design rules, their materials. So again, 1 sheet of cardstock, scissors, tape, 3 plastic straws, 1 pipe cleaner plus 1 more to help during the construction, and then 5 pieces of string that are 1 foot long each. And then this is where they will actually record. So they're gonna draw their design here, which they can just draw on paper and insert in a picture. They're gonna insert in a picture of their final design and then answer the reflection question. Now, this will most likely take them longer than just Tuesday. So the plan is to kind of continue this on Wednesday, depending on how much time that they need. But then I have another STEM challenge for them to do on Wednesday, although this one I don't think needs quite as long. I actually got this idea from my team teachers. We send out a weekly newsletter, and one of the weeks, like 2 weeks ago, they had asked for students to bring in a Pringles can. And I was like, okay, what is this for? So if you have never heard of the Pringle Ring Challenge, you can Google it, but essentially students will use a can of Pringles. And I had to clarify for them, I need you to bring in the can with the chip still inside, not the empty can, but the actual can with the Pringles. They will use the Pringles inside to build a self-sustaining ring, meaning like self-supporting, I guess is the better way to put it. But there's a website, I think it's Carly and Adam. I will link it for you, but they actually have a free recording sheet that you can use. You just enter your email and they will send it to you. But they work on their own with their own can of Pringles and their own chips to try to build the ring. So I will give them time to do that on Wednesday. Again, if it's the food, candy, snack theme, and then they'll get to just kind of snack on their chips, which will be nice. And I want to make sure I do that Wednesday, not the last day of school, so that any students who are not here the last day or leave the last day have a chance to do it. I also will do my class candy awards on Thursday. Now, again, I previously shared about this in a vlog in the year 2020 when the pandemic hit and we were teaching virtually. I dressed up as Willy Wonka to do our class candy awards online. But I've done these for several years. Essentially, each candy fits like a theme and the student gets the candy that matches their award. So let me go ahead and show you those. These are in my TPT store. If you are interested, I will link them for you. They are edible, so you can change the name, your name, and then you can add in your own image. They do not come with my Bitmoji because obviously that is specific to me, but you can add in any image you want. So this area is blank. I add in my Bitmoji. So we have the Laffy Taffy Award for always telling great jokes, Skittles Award for always having colorful ideas, Milky Way Award for always having ideas out of this world, Almond Joy for always bringing us so much joy, Jolly Rancher for always being a jolly classmate, Starburst for always being a star student in class, M&M Award for being magnificent and marvelous, Cotton Candy Award for being as sweet as sugar, Push Pop for always getting work done when push comes to shove, Butterfinger Award for making our classroom a better place, Pop Rocks for rocking our world, Smarty Award for always making smart choices, Crunch Bar Award for helping others when they are in a crunch. Gobstopper for never stopping and always trying your best. Rolo Award for always rolling with the punches. Fun Dip for always having fun in the classroom. Kit Kat for helping others and giving them a break. Good and Plenty for reading plenty of books this year. Baby Ruth for being super athletic during recess and PE. Mentos Award for being a wonderful mentor to other students. 100 Grand for being a fantastic mathematician. Snickers for always making us laugh. Twizzlers for always being so flexible. Hershey's for always being sweet and kind. Ring Pop for always popping into the class discussion. Sweet Tart for always being a sweet friend. Lifesaver for always being a lifesaver and helping. Sour Patch Kids Award for never having a sour attitude. Lollipop Award for always working round the clock. Gummy Bear Award for always being a very good role model. And yes, I know that that's a groundhog, but I couldn't find a bear in my Bitmojis, so it's fine. But I have these in a slideshow. Obviously, these have just the student name. Once I go in and edit the student names, I have it set up so that in slideshow mode, when I present this to the class, I can then animate and their name will come in. So I kind of have the students guess like who they think will be that award. And what I love is basically once I enter the student names, I print the awards from here, but then I also present them from here. So it kind of works out in both areas. And then I shared in one of my previous vlogs that I've already purchased the candy. So this container in here has all of the candy that I've gathered, and those are all ready to go. I will just hand them out to students as I hand out their awards on Wednesday. Now, in addition to their candy award, I also have little gift baggies that I'm giving to each student. I actually purchased all the materials for these back in like February or something. We were given money from a fundraiser that we did as a school, and I used some of that money to purchase end of the year gift supplies. So I've had these supplies sitting in my closet. Yesterday morning, I actually went ahead and assembled them so that they are ready to go. It is basically just a rainbow little gift baggie, and these came in a pack of 100, so I'll have more for next year. And then the sign says, "Thanks for a colorful year in 4th grade. I will miss you, love, Mrs. Emerson." I made these in Canva, so I will link them for you if you are interested. But let me show you what's inside of them. Okay, so these are the rainbow baggies that I used. All of these came from Amazon, so I will link them for you. Inside, each student got a little rainbow twist lollipop because it's adorable. They also got a rainbow shuttle pen. These are the pens where you have all the different colors and you can like pick and choose as you press them down. I always loved these as a kid. Did everyone else try to push down all the colors at once, or was that just me? And then the last thing that's in there is a rainbow scratch bookmark. So the bookmarks are black, but my students each get like a little stick and they can draw on it and it will reveal rainbow colors underneath. So it's just kind of a fun rainbow theme, and they will each get one of the gift baggies in addition to their candy award. And again, I'm emphasizing to them that the candy may not necessarily be their favorite, it's just the candy that fits the award, so it's fine. Now, I am not sure yet if I'm gonna dress up as Willy Wonka that day for the class candy awards or not. Honestly, I don't remember what all I kept from the outfit. Part of me thinks I sold a lot of it or like gave it away before we moved here to Texas. And I need to go digging in my closet to see if I still have the materials. I don't think I'm gonna invest in remaking the costume if I already got rid of it, but of course, if I can find the different clothing items, then I will go ahead and dress up. But to be determined, that is next week, Monday through Wednesday. Thursday is the last day of school, but it's gonna be kind of flexible. So let me get through today and then we'll sit down and chat about what the very last day of school will look like. Before we talk about the last day of school, let's quickly talk about science today. We are still working on our unit for bees, and today we're focusing on bees and flowers and pollination. So this is from the Science Penguin once again, but we are doing a flower dissection. So I've set up a tray for each group, which has the recording sheets, a paper towel for each group member to put their flower parts on, a flower, and they are going to be dissecting these. So they're going to be taking apart all the different components, and I will give them tape, and they will actually tape it right to the recording sheet, which will stay in their notebook. And then there is just a hand lens for each student so that they can take a closer look at the parts. All right, another day officially down. That means The count is at 6 days left. So let's fast forward to the last day of school. The last day of school is gonna be kind of a influx day, if you will, because we have something called bye-bye breakfast about an hour-ish after students arrive. And the PTA provides breakfast for students, and my understanding is families are invited, and a lot of students will then end up going home with their families, so I'm not gonna have like a full class, most likely. Plus, I'm already starting to get emails from families of students that won't be here certain days of the last week due to early travel or other things going on. So as a result, the last day, I just have some activities that if we get to it, great. If not, it's not a big deal. Other than the bye-bye breakfast, I am definitely reading them Last Day Blues, which I just checked. I thought I had the book here at school, but it must still be at home, so I need to bring that in. But I'll put a picture of it here. It's one of my favorite books, and I will read that to them. We also will do a little craft. So I got this from TPT. It's from Teacher Noir, I think is how it's pronounced, but I will link it for you. It's basically 2 pages, and together, once they cut them out and attach them, it spells out fourth. But it's like a little memory book. So it has things like highlight of the year, and it's in like the highlighter, which is cute. Song of the year, favorite memory, 1 word that best describes my school year, 4 words to describe me, 1 thing I will miss from 4th grade, favorite subject, 1 thing always in my backpack, 1 goal I hit this year. So it has some cute just reflection prompts for students to respond to. So I'll have them fill it out, color it in, cut it out, glue it. And this is perfect because on the last day of school, my students will not have their Chromebooks. I'm gonna send their Chromebooks home with them on Wednesday. That way, I don't have to worry about if any students don't come on the last day, they will already have their Chromebooks. So this will be a nice non-computer based activity. And while they're working on this, I'm gonna have just a slideshow of all the pictures I've taken of them throughout the year going on my screen. That way it kind of brings back some memories and it'll just be a cute way to kind of reflect. Other than that, I, as a backup, will do like a paper airplane competition because my students have been super into paper airplanes this year. So I'll give them time to like work with a partner and construct their airplane, and then we'll test them for like farthest distance, most hang time. We can even weight them down with like paper clips and test them that way.
Others seem not to comprehend what a paper airplane is.
It's one of those activities that doesn't require a lot of planning, but you can just kind of pull out, all you need is plain paper and you are good to go. Other than that, it will be a matter of doing things around the room, like cleaning up, getting the room ready for closing out the school year. And so I will just kind of jot down a list of things my students can help me with. For example, like sharpening all of our colored pencils, because I have a drawer of colored pencils that my students use, restocking like my scratch paper bins, and obviously like cleaning things, putting away math manipulatives, all of that. But I'm gonna chat more about that in a future vlog when I go over like all the things I have to do to close out the school year, get my classroom ready for the summer, and so on and so forth. So that is what we are looking at for the rest of this week and then next week with the last week of school. So then that brings me to things on my to-do list. Honestly, for the last week of school, I don't have that much. Like, I'm pretty good to go. Most of the items currently on my to-do list are getting ready for Friday's summer birthday celebration, where the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade are bringing in treats to celebrate all of the staff birthdays that happen over the summer. And so tomorrow night, Thursday night, I need to bake lemon cookies. And then I need to go to the store and get some of the food items for my coworkers' baby shower that I've been planning. That baby shower is on Monday, so I'm gonna get the food and stuff over the weekend. I have some last minute prep I've gotta do for that on Monday during the day, but that's a job for another day. I will share more about the baby shower plans in a future vlog. For now, if you enjoyed this video and got some ideas for the last week of school, I know it was nothing revolutionary, but hopefully it helped. Give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. As always, thank you for watching. I love you so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, and I will catch you in the next one.